You're listening to Last Word Radio, where you get the last word.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Running Wild Podcast. I'm your co-host, Rich. Alongside me, as always, my co-host, Runz.
Yes, sir.
All right. Just before we get started, I want to remind you that we're being brought to you in partnership with LastWordOnSports.com, as well as PWPonderings.com and Wrestling to the Max Network. And let's get started with the show. So this is like the week before, not the go-home show, but like the second to last show before SummerSlam for both programs.
This is also the week where half of the roster is in New Zealand.
Yeah. So, and I don't expect, and even during the Attitude Era, I don't think that every single episode of Raw was, off the charts. And I didn't feel overall that the shows were bad, but I definitely feel like I could have missed them and they would have been fine.
Yeah, like nothing really mattered, like there was some good stuff on Raw, there was some decent stuff on SmackDown, but nothing, like there was no Cena and AJ on SmackDown, there was no really Balor and Rollins on Raw. I guess they both cut a promo and whatever, but that's not the interaction that we all want. But that's a good thing because it could, not that it will get stale, but you don't want to see them ring arguing back and forth every week because then it's, well, why are you not punching him in the face? So that's okay. It's not a bad thing to give it a little break, and that's fine.
It's not a bad thing. It's not a good thing. It's just a thing.
Well, they both had a good promo, so that was good.
Well, Finn's... It's funny. I actually really liked, oddly, because I don't normally like when they bring in when they bring in material that's mystical, But like the end of the Balor, when he's talking about turning into the demon and everything, I don't know. I really enjoyed it, the way he was in that dark room and everything. It reminded me of like weird Undertaker stuff or Jake Roberts stuff, and I kind of liked it.
I don't like that he's the Demon King. Like I that's just like a little too much. But maybe Kane is the demon and the Undertaker's been the demon, so I guess maybe you want to separate that. And then maybe if you have him and Taker or something like that at a WrestleMania, then you have the Demon and the Demon King, or however you could sell it, But I did like I knew why his name is Finn Balor, but I like that they acknowledged that, with the Rollins whole promo. Rollins has been killing it, this whole month, forever, but this whole month with the whole, you're just a second-rate me, and I did everything first. And it's such a good storyline because it's true. And as much as you want to hate Rollins or anything like that, you can't, because he's speaking the truth. And, this is going to lead to Balor winning at SummerSlam, but we'll get to that, eventually. But I really liked when Finn Balor had that backstage, vignette, whatever you want to call it, where he mentioned about the giant eye, right? And that's what he has painted on his back sometimes. So now that made me like, oh, okay, that makes sense, instead of me being like, why the fuck is there a giant eye?
Yeah.
So that I like that. And then I like exactly like you said, the little metamorphosis into the demon quickly, and then the cutaway. So it'll be interesting to see what they do next week if he comes out as the demon. I don't think you waste that on Raw before SummerSlam. Like, that doesn't make sense. But
no, I thought that was really good. I'm trying to think of other things that we saw on Raw.
The Bullet Club, that was awesome. When they had Big E's nuts in the jar.
Oh.
And they were like, oh, it was nuts. Like, yeah, it makes me a little testy. And they were just brilliant there, you know, and they were joking, but in a serious way where you didn't feel like they were clowns. You just felt like, wow, these guys are fucked up.
And then they went to go, they went to go do the same thing to Kofi, right?
Yeah.
That was, I've never seen that move be like such a devastating gimmick, you know?
Exactly. And they're selling that whole thing as a legit thing. And it should be, because that should really hurt you.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. Whenever somebody does that in the past and it didn't end the match, like, I didn't understand. Like, if I know it's wrestling and I'm supposed to. And like,
I mean, if you don't follow Big E, like, I just started following him, and thank God I did on Raw, because like when they had the whole thing with Diddy, he wrote, "Worry about your own nuts, Puff," and then like later on he was just like, "Yo," and it just like, what the fuck, man? Like, and I was cracking up reading it, because it would be like my exact reaction too, like, yo, damn, like, all right, yo, be easy.
P Diddy's talking about his nuts.
Peace, man.
That's amazing.
So yeah, it was good stuff. I'm enjoying the angle. I like that it gets it to a 2-on-2, and you know, it gives New Day the hype return or the run in, whatever the case.
Yeah, I think. What do you think is going to happen at SummerSlam? Do you think there's I mean, we still have a week to go before we do predictions, but
yeah, I was just like going to ask you the same thing, because I don't know. I mean, New Day's been the champions for over a year. Like, they don't need the belts at all. You know, like they can be New Day without needing to be feuding for the tag team titles. So I think now's a good time to get it on the club, and you build them up on their own a little bit, and then you have Enzo and Cass in the wings, and whatever other tag teams you're going to start filtering up. So I think, you know, I think the club should be the ones to end the reign at SummerSlam.
That'll be interesting. It's weird, because at this point, it's almost like I don't want them to lose it to anybody.
Yeah, like they feel bigger than everyone else. But I think,
you
know, to give someone that rub, I think the club needs that, because they're the heels, they're the new guys somewhat. And, you know, they're awesome. So I think having them beat New Day, and the casual fans are like, oh, shit, these guys beat the New Day, like, damn. And then, you know, people hate them more, and they get more heat, and they're more over, and then they're more of a serious threat.
Yo, I have an idea. Since P. Diddy is with New Day, what if 50 Cent comes out at SummerSlam with the club and plays in the club as they're coming to the ring?
Terrible.
Come on. Oh, then they can have a 6-man. They could have like a. Oh man, they could have like a huge match.
I mean, this is like what people talk about. This is, oh my god, that would be horrendous. This is what people talk about all the time with like basketball or football players, when like the white guy is the feisty, you know, like whatever. And when you were, or like when they do comparisons, because when you were, since P. Diddy is with New Day, I was trying to think of like a white musician to put with the club. You know, like I was just, that's just the first thing that came in my head. Like, who the hell are you going to even, like, the club isn't, you know what I mean? Like, they're country boys. Like, you would need,
but see,
whatever that band was that used to rock with WWE.
I used to, you know what it is? Is that I feel whenever I hear a club, I hear 50 Cent in the club.
Oh, yeah, I get you.
Bottle full of bub. Like, when you say the club,
I understood the reference.
I immediately, it's so bad. All right, moving on, because there's probably better things to talk about than imaginary 6-man tags. See, like, one of the reasons why I'm not sure.
Definitely than that 6-man tag.
If they drop it,
Dennis Rodman, Jay Leno.
Rodman? No, I'm not gonna bring up Rodman, because he did some weird stuff this week. I saw a video about him doing a story about how he broke his penis 3 times. So. Oh
yeah, I read his book about that. That was awesome.
They did it with like they did it with animation. Like, he's telling the story.
See, I don't need that. I can picture it enough. That's good enough.
It was bad. one of the reasons why if the club doesn't drop it to them, I could see, I mean, I wouldn't put it past WWE to at some point keep Jericho and Owens together after SummerSlam. Like, what if they win? Like, they're all, they cheat the New Day and they win the belts, and then eventually Enzo and Cass beat them.
They could, but like then you would really be hot-shotting that angle, because like how quickly are you gonna put the belt? You're gonna beat them on Raw after SummerSlam, and then have Enzo and Cass. I think you've been building up the club this whole time a little bit for this push, and I think this would be for them to do it. I feel about the Owens Jericho, but I could also see Slam and Owens hitting a pop-up power bomb and them feuding. But I wouldn't mind seeing them as a tag team right now, because they're entertaining as hell, and Owens isn't in the title picture at the moment, so that's fine. Build him up, give him some momentum, and a storyline, a feud, a reason. Like, I would rather have Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho team up than be Sami Zayn. Like, what is he doing? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
so like that's the thing to me.
I've seen some amazing Jericho Owens memes. Like somebody took them and like did Bert and Ernie versions of them.
Yeah.
Which was amazing. And I saw another one that I can't remember right now that was actually my favorite. But it's funny because the first time I saw it like developing, I didn't like it. But now they're so good together.
I mean, it's just two of, like you said, two of the best and just constant heat getters. Like they should be the heat seekers, because that's what they do is just always find a way to get you to hate them. And they're going to be hilarious together. They were awesome on Raw. They were really funny. Like, even the stuff that was just off microphone where they were yelling at each other, that kind of thing. Owens like, hey, how are you doing? How are you doing? After the match, all that kind of stuff. It was just, they're a good heel tag team, and that's a fine role for them right now.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Tasha's backstage with Mick Foley. I just can't understand why they were writing it. They did a handicap match for the title. Like, why would she want that?
Well, because she's the baby face.
But she's
so she doesn't care. She'll beat them both. But it's stupid. But she's the baby face, so she'll beat them both. She'll overcome the odds. It doesn't matter to her. But I just
see, if they were in the room, that's the other thing. I guess that's what I'm trying to think, right? Like, I guess I have a heel brain, so I'd be like, no, I'd never want to wrestle two people for my title, right? Because then I could lose my title. But then I think, okay, I'm also Cuban enough that if somebody really got me angry in person, like two people, I might say, you know what? I'll take both of you on. Right? I could see that. I can see that. But they have to be there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't just be talking to...
Well, but if they've both been taunting you and fucking with you and jumping you every day that you leave your house, then I think it wouldn't matter if they were right there. You could be talking to Stat Life and, I'm going to fight both of them. I'd call them right now. You know what I mean?
Okay. All right. Okay.
I understand that. But I just wish... what are we going to have at SummerSlam? A bunch of one-on-one matches? Why is this not a cage match? Like, that to me would be the perfect, moment. These two have feuded throughout NXT forever. They keep getting interfered with and having, sloppy finishes and this kind of a thing. Why are they not in a steel cage? It just makes sense.
Have you ever seen... I mean, I don't think we're there yet. Have you ever seen a women's cage match?
But I think we're there. I think this is the perfect opportunity to cement that. Well, there's nothing else on this card that's a gimmick match or anything like that. So this could be your one gimmick match. Give it a 15-minute Iron Man or a 30-minute Iron Man. Do something, you know. And I don't want to do the Iron Man because Bayley and Sasha just did it. So I would give them a cage match. Keep Dana out of the ring. Let them build that drama. And you know, I think that would be a perfect way, same level as the men. This is a heated rivalry with interference. Hey, fuck this. Keep them out. Let's put them in a cage.
Yeah, I think you handcuff Dana, right, to Sergeant Slaughter. And then she obviously won't be able to do anything, so it'll be fine. That's never been done before.
No, she'll forearm him, you know, with those heavy forearms.
Are we getting, did it get signed officially, Young versus Titus O'Neil?
I mean, I'm sure it'll be a pre-show match. I can't see that actually making the card, but I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. It's 4 hours, right? So.
Well, what about will Sheamus and Cesaro make the card?
It should, and this is a perfect chance to talk about that. I mean, well, okay. First of all, I enjoyed the hell out of Titus and Darren Young. I like this angle.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think it makes sense. You know, and I watched the Raw pre-show, so I saw Titus O'Neil cut that backstage promo on Darren Young where he was like, when the hell was Darren Young great? Like, what the hell? All right. And I liked it because he wasn't really being a heel. He didn't need to already establish himself as a heel before that moment. Like, that was it. It was just him doubting his so-called friend. And the week before, when Darren Young ran up to him when he got drafted, and Titus was like, "Oh, all right, yeah, great, thanks, welcome back." Like, that was the start of it too. There's little things that build up to it, and then hooking the tights, and then we got the back and forth here. So I enjoy it. It's been good so far, and it's a way to get them both on TV. So that's fine. Titus as a heel is a lot better as Titus as a babyface.
It's funny. I kind of remember. I mean, they did it also on Raw, but I remember also, like, on Nitro, them having storylines with Jericho, who was, you know, middle, kind of lower card, you know, back then. When he had Ralphus and everything, and fighting with Prince Ikea and all those things. Alex Wright would have an angle with Mongo. I just felt like everybody had a purpose for the most part. You know, like Disco Inferno could have put on a figure 4, you know? And I think when you're doing something like they are with Young and Titus, you're basically just giving everybody a reason to be there. So even if people don't super pop for these guys, at least it's the 3 hours feels like it's not going by as slowly.
It's the beauty of the brand split. You know, this gives Darren Young and Titus 5 minutes every Monday to be on Raw and to do something and to have matches and backstage segments where if Styles and Cena and Dolph and Ambrose and Wyatt were all on Raw, that wouldn't be happening. So, you know, that's the beauty of this brand split. And that's the reason why they need singles titles and tag team titles and women's titles on both shows, because of this opportunity. And if this was, you know, the joint roster and there was 9 titles, then that's different. 2 separate rosters and 2 separate shows and pay-per-views and all of that. These guys have reasons for their feuds. You know, it's not Dolph Ziggler and Baron Corbin just fighting for 4 months. It's they're fighting because Dolph Ziggler kicked over Baron Corbin's motorcycle in the park. You know, there's a reason, and that's the beauty of all of this. You know, Eva Marie coming out on SmackDown week after week and finding an excuse not to wrestle is fantastic. It is, you know, it's good TV. It's entertaining. It's gonna make you hate Eva Marie, and in the process, it's building up other girls. And just, you know, you don't have that opportunity and that time when you only have one big roster.
It's ridiculous that it had to come to this for them to, but you know, the thing is
that's what they need. You know, see, like, have you been reading like Triple H and I don't know if it was like the Budget Report or the Conference Call or maybe it was ESPN. I don't know, but I was reading somewhere where he was saying, like, you know, we had the brand split in the 2000s, and then the talent roster thinned out, and we had to go back to having one roster. And now it's taking us, whatever it is, 10 years, not 8 years, to rebuild the amount of talent and now have the NXT infusion where now they're able to do it again. And they don't want to go back to just having one big roster. So I think now that's the good thing. And, you know, with NXT and with all the talent in the world, I think we're going to have this brand split for a long, long time.
I mean, I totally agree that they're releasing guys that, you know, the minute they leave the company, they're stars.
Yeah, and I think a couple of those they would like to have back. You know, I think the Sandows and the Rhodes, I think they would like to have back with the brand split because,
yeah,
I mean, if Cody Rhodes couldn't be the world champion on SmackDown, then, you know, I don't know.
I mean, Ryback is,
you know, fuck Ryback.
Well, I know, but
I will enjoy.
He's going to be.
I will enjoy seeing Ryback in TNA. That's what I'm going to say. Yeah, but yeah, and he's going to get picked up right away. But like, he could go. He could probably go to Japan. Like, if Michael Elgin is definitely better than Ryback, but if Michael Elgin can go to Japan and like, I'm not sure how much you follow like the New Japan product, but he is a fucking superstar.
Yeah, I heard he's killing it over there now.
He won the Intercontinental title right away. He's in the lead of his block right now, or like there's like a 5-way tie, but he's right there in his block. It's kind of crazy, you know. And so they love the big guys in Japan. And
the big guy.
That's an opportunity. Yeah, exactly. So that's an opportunity for Ryback, or does he just go to TNA and see what he can do there? I wouldn't mind seeing him there either. I think, you know, last night on Impact, Sandow was there, and Rex, and Josh Matthews said like, "Oh, Cody Rhodes and Stu Bennett and Ryan Reeves, you know, but there was one name that was shocking on that list," and so he mentioned all three of those guys.
Wow.
So Cody Rhodes, that's a stretch. Wade Barrett is doing his own thing.
Yeah.
But
the big guy
and Sandow are perfect TNA guys.
I heard the big guy is not. I mean, I don't know. So I listened to the trainer for WrestlePro, Pat Buck's podcast, and he was talking about how he's actually Ryback's booking agent right now.
Pat Buck is?
Yeah. Like
cool.
Everybody has to go through Pat Buck to book Ryback, and the big guy. I'm sorry, the big guy, and that Ryback is. I keep doing that. He's going to be appearing for WrestlePro October 15th in Brooklyn.
Is he going to be the big guy on the Independents? Is that going to be?
Yeah, that's apparently his name right now. Like, his Twitter account has been changed to the big guy.
I thought it was always the big guy.
That's going to be tough when you're if you're doing commentary.
Well, I guess he can be the big guy, Ryan Reeves.
Okay, yeah, that actually makes sense. Ryan Reeves
he can be something like that.
Nice.
Yeah, that's not a bad name. Yeah, and that's why
good.
he was the Ryback, but he
can
do something with it.
And so I don't know, like, I know that a lot of times if guys will sign a contract, like some indie things, you know, but I think that he's gonna explore this indie thing for a little bit, kind of like Rhodes is. I think that if he goes to TNA, it won't be till at least, you know, like December or something. I think he's gonna really.
It's gonna be so interesting to see that guy like in a gym because he's a big guy.
Yeah,
no pun intended.
No,
you know, like he is a really large person. So to see him in such a small gym with small workers is going to be odd. And I don't know, like, is he an indie guy? Hell no. Like, he's a prototypical WWE, but he's there because he's large.
I want to see him murderize people, man. Murderize people.
But that's like, I don't know. Just go to TNA.
I want to see him versus,
be something there.
I want to see him versus the way. So Michael Elgin's coming to Brooklyn. I forget when it is. I want to say maybe it's October also. He's going to be taking on Mike Verna, the local guy over here. And they're just two big dudes. I wouldn't mind seeing Ryback come out and take on Verna. Like, that would just two, like, because for me in this area, Verna's like the biggest muscular WWE type, right? So what does he look like next to Ryback? Like, I want to see that. Does he hoist Ryback up and toss him like he does everybody else, who's generally much smaller than him? Oh, I don't know. It'll be. We'll see what happens. I mean, because with Pat Buck booking Ryback, you figure he'll somehow run across some of these other shows as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, but I think they'll be careful not to overexpose him.
Well, he actually said that. Yeah, he said, like, we don't want to put him like back-to-back nights, like, in the same area. We want to spread it out. So, like, I think the 14th he'll be appearing for Russell Pro in Jersey, and then he'll be here in Brooklyn on the 15th. So that's a disparate. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. I want to go to more Russell Pro shows, and I end up not going to the Jersey ones. Like, when I see Jersey, I go, right away. When I see, obviously New York, then I'm like, okay, that's even like at this point, living out here in Brooklyn, like Long Island is a little tough for me. It's just, if the show's going to end at 10:30, 11, I don't really want to be getting home that late. I'm old now.
It depends, like when there's work the next day and all of that kind of thing. That's really difficult. But,
like, if it's a Saturday night,
that's a big difference.
It changes it. So we'll see.
Tanahashi and Okada ended in time limit draw. That's pretty sick.
Wow, I need to start watching some of that. I'm just so behind.
See, I'm sorry. Are we finished with WWE for the moment? I don't know what else.
Well, and we have NXT and Cruiserweight Classic.
All right. So just briefly, I mean, this is what I enjoy about New Japan. Is the things that the title and like the matches matter. Like, the G1 is just a month and a half or 2 months, whatever, of these guys wrestling each other every night. And just going from there, and the guy who has the most points at the end wins, blah, blah, blah. But, this kind of stuff is what makes wrestling awesome. And to have all the scenarios and that kind of thing was awesome and mad fun to read this week.
I need to get into that a little bit. It's just WWE has...
It's tough. It is
saturated
tough.
My world.
And the in Japanese to watch these matches is really difficult, but now these last three shows are all in English.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I heard the last three are in English, so that's something
that's definitely why I'm watching these now. But like, before, so Bad Luck Fale, who I'm pretty sure you know, right? The big, right? So first of all, they said that him and Tama Tonga are related, and they didn't know until they started working together, which is just, that all Samoans are clearly related. But
so amazing.
So Bad Luck Fale, right, beat Tanahashi and Okada, and he was and he was in the lead, right? So his last match was against Tama Tonga. So. The Bullet Club is out there, and they too sweet both of the guys before the match and all of that. And then Tama Tonga lays down. And Fale just, stands on his chest and poses. And 1, 2, and then Tonga kicks out and rolls him up. But Fale kicks out. Then he's like, all right. So then they do it again, and Tama Tonga kicks out again. And then they start fighting. They have a good back-and-forth match. The RKO, and he wins. And, like, you can see the guys on the Bullet Club like, oh, shit. But then, they too sweeted after. Everything was cool. But just a good story, a good match. It just makes, like, I don't care about Big Bad Luck Fale. But because he beat Tanahashi and Okada, and because he was in the lead, and now he's facing his Bullet Club member in the last match, and if he wins, he wins, it just makes it so much better.
So much wrestling. I just need to. That sounds great, And I found myself last night staying up till 2 a.m. watching Swerved because I wanted to. Watch.
I've been there, man. I've watched Unfiltered. I've watched the Inked Corey Graves.
I won't watch that. It's the one thing that
You
I'm
should,
like,
because it's really good.
really?
There's one when he has Kevin Owens, and like somebody just walks through, and Kevin Owens is like, "Oh yeah, no problem. We're not doing anything. Just ignore the camera." Yeah, it's good. It's it's entertaining. I like hearing the guys' stories about their tattoos and that kind of shit. So.
Oh man, but like some of my favorite swerved that I've seen so far is not even that good. Not even that good. It's when Flair gets locked out because they can't even get his reaction because he just books it. He's so angry.
No, that is his reaction. He's just like, "I'm God." Like, are you kidding me? But the best one is the R-Truth when he's the security.
Oh, yeah, I did see that.
With Mark Henry, and he comes back out as the midget. Yeah, come on, man. That one is absurd.
See, that one's good. All right, that one's good for a different reason, right? Because like the whole thing plays out. Like for me, the Flair thing, like every other skit, you have like you get to reveal, right? There's always a reveal. With all of these shows, that's the whole point. But Flair is so angry, right? Like this is such a fucked up prank that they can't get. Yeah, they like why? Like here's my other thing. So it just ends with him walking away. They could have gotten him later and be like, hey Rick, what happened? What'd you think about it? And he was laughing. Nothing. No. It's like he probably legit afterwards wouldn't talk to them because like he said his name once.
I think like in the credits, like she gets him and they're talking or something, because I remember
skipping
them
around.
Like I remember them being there, so I think at one point they come back to it.
Okay, because he gives him his ID, and then like every other time the guy asks what his name is, he's like, "Kiss my ass, that's my name." How do I spell my name? Famous.
Yeah, when he spells famous, man, he's the best. That one was really good because it was real. Like, and that's what I didn't like about the new season is like that they pranked people. And I understand because I wouldn't want to be going to work and getting fucked with either.
Oh man,
that's a little bit foul, but it's still funny.
They need Randy Orton to shit in someone's bag. That would be funny.
Did you see All right, so did you see Joe Styles got fired?
Yeah.
Right. Did you see the interview that he did that got him fired?
I read about it. Jog my memory.
So like, they just released it today somewhere. At so he did this interview with Kathy Kelly, like just in the headquarters, and they did it on Facebook Live. Then like it got pulled the day later, and then he got fired. So everyone's just saying like the timeline clearly added up. But so throughout the whole thing, right, he's like, "Oh, this is like a shoot interview," and throughout the whole thing, he's like, "Yeah, this is gonna get me fired." Like, "Yeah, no, Kathy, like, move out of the way. I'll read this one because it's gonna get me fired." But like, nothing was that controversial. Nothing was that crazy to me. Like, he didn't insult Vince when he did talk about Vince's love for Roman Reigns. He just said like, our chairman's been right way more than he's been wrong, so I'm gonna ride with him. Like, he didn't say anything bad, I didn't think. And maybe it was just because like he's not supposed to be doing that, and
maybe talking
kayfabe a little bit, but
maybe like talking about being fired.
Just saying like, "Oh, this is gonna get me fired," like. But it wasn't even like he was saying anything crazy. So
man, I say that at work all the time. Like I probably say that once a week. I'm like, guys, this is gonna get me fired, but just like, shh.
Like Bill Simmons and Jalen Rose had the whole thing, like, don't get fired. Like they had a whole segment, about saying things that were close to getting you fired and just not going over that line. And I think that's exactly what he did. Like it was joking. Like, at the end of the interview, Kathy Kelly's like, "All right, see you here next week," and he's like, "Yeah, I don't know, maybe." And then he gets fired. So it was really weird, man. Like it was really, really strange. I think there must be something in his contract or something where like he's not supposed to be doing that.
You know what? I bet you Vince just watched it and went, "You know what? I've never liked that guy. Let's fire him."
100%. Like, he still works for us?
Exactly, because he's like the web guy.
That 100% could, like, wait a minute. The guy from ECW works in our office? Get him out of here.
Why do you think it took Christian so long to get out of WWE? Because he's like, wait a minute. he finally saw him. You know, he finally saw. He's like, "Oh, what? Your face? I hate your face." He's like, "Get out of here." And then like he's like, "I didn't even know you were still with us." Like I could easily see that happening.
JTG, man, that's exactly what happened.
Yo, timeout. Two things that just randomly came to my mind. One, how long has Alberto not been wearing this scarf? Did I just notice it on Raw, or has it been a while?
First of all, he's on SmackDown. Second of all,
Whatever.
I'm not sure. I don't pay attention to the scarf wearing.
Well, because Jericho wears a scarf, and a lot of guys I know wear scarves now. It seems.
So maybe I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he just didn't wear it this week. Maybe I don't know. I really don't pay attention.
I'm saying that that's like Bret Hart not coming out with his glasses. I don't know.
Well, I mean, he doesn't give it away. But
the other thing, Tyson Tomko. What happened to him?
Dead. I don't know.
No, is he really though? Just
no, he's just terrible. He was bad.
Okay.
Yeah, he was just really bad. He was awesome. Okay. I love that guy.
Yeah, me too. He's a problem solver.
The Tomko No is one of the greatest. That was out before memes. And so that would be awesome now to have that. But yeah.
So then
definitely wouldn't be the first person to get remember that he worked there and fired.
So the Cruiserweight Classic this week was the best. I mean, for me, I didn't watch G1, so let me just say it this way: for me, it was the best wrestling I watched all week.
See, it's just so hard for me. Everyone built up that, or not everyone, because I didn't really read about it, but the Ibushi Alexander stuff. Yes, it was a good match, but it's nothing that I haven't seen Cedric Alexander do in Evolve versus Sabre or Gargano or all over the place. These matches are good matches. They are good matches, but I'm spoiled by watching PWG and Evolve and ROH and just seeing these fast-paced kind of matches.
You know what? But with WWE camera angles.
Go ahead.
With the WWE camera angles, were amazing.
It's the connection to the characters. Why the fuck do I care about who Kota Ibushi is or Cedric Alexander?
Okay.
You know what I mean? What's the point? I know who Cedric Alexander is, and I know why. I know his background. I know why I should care. But why do I care about him in the Cruiserweight Classic or in the WWE? It doesn't. There's no nothing to it.
Well,
give me substance. Give me something.
I guess I care because he seems like a nice guy, and I just want him to do well. I guess for me, legit, and I'm so excited to see him there that it's enough for me.
That takes you so far. Yes, I love Cedric Alexander. He is fantastic in the ring, but there is a difference between Cedric Alexander and Seth Rollins. They're both amazing in-ring workers, but there's a character to Seth Rollins, and there's not one to Cedric Alexander
yet.
And this is not the first time I've ever seen Cedric Alexander. He's never had a character. He's never had that personality.
He's got a necklace.
All
right.
Yes, he does have puka shell necklaces.
I used to wear those.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yes.
Legitimately, almost went to my draw and put my iron on. I'm going to Cape Cod tomorrow, so I'm telling you right now, expect to see tons of Cedric Alexander puka shell necklaces shots from the beach. Because maybe I'll even try to 450 into the water from the top of the.
Please don't.
This is gonna be great. This is gonna be fantastic. We're gonna see some moves. All right. So I don't know. I guess I see what you're saying about the idea that he doesn't really have a character, but I think that's going to be remedied. And
it could be, but that's part of that's part of why I don't always love PWG or New Japan or Evolve, where they're just matches, and they're great matches for the sake of being great matches. Great, but what's the point here?
So you need to bring Vita Scott to make people angry and go against Cedric or something. That would be amazing.
See, like if he was represented by Stokely Hathaway, and you had Stokely on the outside of the ring, hyping him up and cutting a promo backstage before the match about why Cedric Alexander is the man and why he's so good, and selling that, that's all I need, is that little bit. So that would be a perfect solution.
And then you could have Stokely with TJP.
Well, see, I would keep him away from TJ because I've said before, I don't understand their connection. They clash to me. But I think him and Cedric is a perfect, just like they both. TJP has that showmanship, but it's a lot more laid back, and okay. Cedric has that, but the energy is there, and Stokely has that same type of energy.
Man, and I think that with bringing in indie talent, and I'm not saying that you always have to bring in their managers or their friends, whatever.
Yeah.
But I
sometimes
honestly,
it makes sense.
Why aren't you signing indie managers? People that
I think it's a thing about managers. I think there's just we don't really need managers.
But see,
and I think that's a problem because I think with guys who can't talk, we've seen it with Brock. The manager just adds another layer and another element to the guy. But maybe when they try to put Heyman with Cesaro and it bombed, and then Axel and it bombed, not that was Heyman's fault, but maybe that left us sour. And then Del Rio and Zeb, the way that they've tried to have a manager in the past few years hasn't built up any confidence in the manager.
At the same time, I think that if you bring in somebody who's well known, like Stokely, or I don't know, I'm just gonna go.
Not even like well known, because I don't know how famous Stokely Hathaway is, but
truthfully,
just someone good, just someone talented, someone who is going to do their job in getting over the worker.
Like I want a guy to come. I want like Stokely to come in and act like he's just scouting for a while.
Yeah,
like not
exactly.
Be with anybody, scout. Like have him be a manager, have him be like a guy who really is looking for a representative.
Why not NXT? That would be a perfect thing. Have him come out, have him join NXT, and then have some clients there. Then he brings that client to the main roster, and then he expands his talent there. And there's a lot of shortcuts that you could take with having the manager and creating a stable or creating tag teams or just creating heels and faces. It's so much easier sometimes when there's someone else there to facilitate it.
I completely agree. I also, since last episode,
was there anything you wanted to talk about the CWC, or because we just kind of, I just kind of shit on it and then you moved on?
I love it. So we kind of weighed in. It's my favorite hour of TV.
It was
every
really
week.
Good. Yeah, it is enjoyable, but I'm numb to how good some of the matches are because I see similar style.
And I guess just for me, I'm popping because it's on WWE Network, and I'm like, yes.
I also really need to avoid spoilers for the next set because knowing who wins really kills it.
I haven't. So I don't know anything about round 2.
Yeah. See, so I know the round 2.
I don't think I even knew round 1. I think I only knew the. I think I only knew. Wait, when we discussed
you just forget round, because we knew when we.
I'm also very good at forgetting. So
we knew who won the first round, but we didn't know who won the second. But then I eventually read it.
Statwife would attest to my not remembering things, so it's forgetting things very quickly. I went to. So wait, did you watch NXT? Before
yes.
I forget. I don't think.
Yeah, so I mean, on NXT we got they made Bobby Roode and CN for TakeOver.
Good.
Bailey and Asuka had a contract signing for TakeOver. They made No Way Jose and Aries for TakeOver. They made Gargano and Ciampa versus the Revival. I think that was really it. Like, there wasn't a Billy Kay wrestled. Like, TM61 and Authors of Pain did something. Like, nothing really crazy.
I think the best thing about NXT that I've been watching all week is the Glorious Bombs. I can't get over them. I downloaded Rude's song and I told
you the song was awesome.
I'll be honest, I downloaded, and I'm not just promoting anyone. I downloaded his song and Ethan Page's song, and I just listened to both of them on repeat. Just like cycling through, I like both of them so much. Glorious Bomb is amazing.
Yeah, the Glorious is absurd. You know, it's glorious. And I won't give in until I'm victorious.
It's so good.
It's great stuff. And it is so perfect and so fitting for him, because that's his character, is that he's just better and he's a step above. And I think that is a perfect signing for them. You know, let him wrestle a little bit in NXT, but then get him on SmackDown, because he's awesome. And he's been ready to come to WWE for a while. Triple H talked about him like when he was still wrestling. Like when he was just beginning NXT, I remember reading about how Triple H wanted to sign Bobby Roode, and it was like the opening of my eyes of like, holy shit, someone is finally acknowledging wrestling outside of WWE when it comes to hiring. And so, you know, I'm glad to see it finally happen. I know he has faith in him, and clearly he's just going to let him do his thing. Perfect.
Yeah, it's fun to watch, man. I am okay with him staying down there a little bit longer.
It's fine.
I enjoy seeing him there, and I'm looking forward to that match. The NXT show. I'm not upset that I'm missing it. Look, I'm not going to be there live, but no. I'm okay. But I'm looking forward to watching it. I want to see Gargano and Ciampa win the belts, so I'm definitely going to have a vested interest in it.
Like, are they going to win the belts? Like, is Samoa Joe going to lose the belt? Like, what is Bayley going to win it back? Well, what's going to happen? I really don't know anything, because, like, CN and Bobby Roode, both new stars, both could use a win. Aries and No Way Jose, yes, No Way Jose should probably win, but I could easily see Aries winning. So every match on that card, I don't know who's going to win. And that's kind of been a staple of NXT, and it continues to be, but I think more so in general with this show than most of the recent ones. I really don't know, because if Joe loses, like, I could see him getting called up, and I can see Nakamura and Rude and Almas and Jose and Aries, them being the guys, and letting Joe move up. If Bayley wins, maybe she brings the NXT belt to SmackDown. Maybe Asuka goes to SmackDown. I could see the Revival losing and going to SmackDown. I could see, you know, just a legitimate, complete overhaul with this takeover.
It's going to be fun to watch. Super excited.
Yeah, I mean, it'll definitely be good. Did you see the Ambrose on Austin?
Yeah, well, I actually read the transcript, and then I saw the last part where Austin kind of calls him out, so I put that on and watched like just the last 4 minutes.
Okay.
That was pretty crazy. I've never seen Austin do that. Just
see, like, it's really weird, because, you know, you got to watch the whole thing, because, like, throughout the interview, Austin, like, it seems like sometimes he tries to get an answer out that Ambrose is like, yo, I'm not talking about, like, my parents, like, you know, cut that shit out kind of a thing. But, like, sometimes he asks the same question a bunch of times, even if Ambrose kind of gave him an answer, so it seems like Ambrose isn't giving him an answer, and it's a weird interview, you know. Like, there were some good points and there were some interesting things said. One I will get to in a minute, but at the end, you know, when he was calling him out, and at the beginning, when he first started calling him out, Ambrose was like, "Yo, I take offense to that. Like, I don't like that you're saying that." And then when Austin kept saying it, then he was like, "All right, I'll take what you're saying and I'll use it. That's fine." So I don't think that was a bad thing either, you know. Like, at first he was like, "Yo, fuck you." Like, I'm not complacent. You're an idiot. And then after he kept saying it, he was just like, okay, I'll take what you're saying. No problem. But when he called out Brock Lesnar for being lazy, that was the greatest thing I've ever heard in my life. Because they built up that match to be something special, and it wasn't. And everyone remembers that. So to hear that he tried to do everything he could to make it memorable and all of that kind of stuff, and Brock was just like, now just hit some suplexes and that's it. Crazy.
Yeah, and it's funny because that's how I felt about the match. I just felt like it was like, meh. I didn't think it was that great.
Exactly.
And now it comes out why. That's insane.
And the next day on Talking Smack, Renee Young and Daniel Bryan were talking, and Daniel Bryan mentioned how Ambrose called out Brock Lesnar for his laziness, and Renee Young's eyes were like, oh, stop, just oh, he's gonna get in trouble, cut it out. Oh man, good. I love it.
No, yeah, that was really well done, I thought.
And Austin completely ignored that, and I think that's something that was a place where he could have led Ambrose somewhere else, and he just chose not to. That was a spot where Ambrose was telling you, I was trying to do something ill, but this guy wouldn't let me, and then he just brushed it off. He didn't even talk about it.
Yeah, I don't.
Ambrose probably did come off looking bad, but I'm not sure that wasn't not by design, but a little bit.
No, he did look bad.
I don't think Austin gave him a fair shot. Austin doesn't know these guys, and so he reads about them on Wikipedia, and that's not good. Just reading about them and watching matches and shit. That's call up Mick Foley and say hey, what's up? What's up with Ambrose? Call up Triple H. Hey, what's up with this guy? Give me some information. Give me some background, so you know how to go at him, because he's not the type of guy who's super energetic and super amped up. He's just chilled out and he's laid back, and that's what Renee Young and Daniel Bryan were talking about on Talking Smack too. That's not his character. That's not his personality. He's super chilled out. So you can't ask him to be something he's not. He's doing what he does his way.
We'll see who they have in the next podcast.
Yeah, I wish there was just more of a connect.
And then, if that's all our WWE stuff, I'll quickly go into Ring of Honor, and I also went to a Tier 1 show last week. Ring of Honor, basically the big thing this week was Nigel had basically not allowed, he had said that Adam Cole would never get a title shot as long as he was matchmaker. And then at the end of the show, Jay Lethal begged him, please, I wanna get revenge for him cutting my hair. And they had a really good promo, video package at the beginning of Lethal reacting to his haircut in the back, yelling, just ah! Just he's by himself in a bathroom, not by himself because he's being filmed, but whatever. And he's just yelling into a mirror, and he's got patchy hair.
What's the difference? I understand it's not a handicap match, but what's the difference between what Sasha Banks did and what Jay Lethal just did?
Well,
both.
I totally buy.
Exactly.
Let me put it.
It's
you cut my hair. You cut
exactly.
my fucking hair, bro.
Exactly. That's you're getting angry. I'm gonna.
Yeah, man.
it. But see, that's exactly it. The difference is that Jay Lethal had his head shaved, so he has a big reason to say, I don't care about your title rules. Give me that title match. I'll defend my belt against him. I don't care. Whereas Sasha just because she's getting beat up, yes, that's a reason, but there's a bigger and better reason. So it makes you completely not even think about it twice, whereas you didn't like going Sasha.
And they only had 2 matches. It was Will Ferrara versus Jay White, which is really good. Well, listen, Ferrara's, he's good in the ring, and they're showcasing what White can do. So I thought,
it's going to be rough in 4 years when Will Ferrara is the ROH World Champion, and I'm like, oh god, yeah, remember how much shit I talked about that guy back in the day?
And Jay White's they're hot-shotting him, so I thought that was a good match, and it really, the tapings have been for me since the last pay-per-view. This is perfect. This Saturday they're going to air their last episode, and then it's going to come out on Fight TV, whatever, on Monday, right? And that is going to be the last episode before the pay-per-view, and that's going to have the contract signing for the world title. You know, and that's perfect. Thank you. You have a real go-home show that not just Saturday night fans watch, but that all fans will watch. I don't know what the episode after is going to be, how they're going to work that out, but right now, I'm really happy with the way it's been taped.
Well, I mean, they're filming stuff the day after, as always, so it'll probably, you know, be some type of something from that.
No, they don't do that normally. They don't turn it over that quick. Because,
it takes longer.
Because, first of all, the taping is going to be Saturday night, and that's normally when they air on Sinclair. So it would need to be the next Saturday. So there's going to be there has to be some sort of filler episode that airs the night that they're doing their new TV taping. So we'll see. But I hope they keep the way they've been going, because it's actually, and you know, they haven't had as much VOD, which thank God, because I've been having I was having a heavy time covering all those VODs from June and from May. So they're using the TV product really effectively, you know, like you're reaching more of an audience, and I think that you're making people want to buy the pay-per-view.
Yeah, I remember reading somewhere like the problem with their TV, and like they said exactly what, you know, we've been saying for the past year or whatever the case is, just that they do such a poor job. And there was a reason that I can't remember, like what the problem was or why they were so off key with everything. But I can't remember what it was right now. But yeah, I mean, we're not the only ones who noticed that, and so hopefully they've taken notice and they've made adjustments to their schedule and all of that, so that, you know, it's a little more on pace and a little more in cohesion with the stories that they're telling on the pay-per-views. And
you heard the news about them signing their, like, I'm scared, but also maybe hopeful, that they aligned with CMLL. They're forming a partnership with them, the Mexican organization.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that like just makes sense, because CMLL has a relationship with New Japan already, and so does ROH. So why not? It's gonna, you know, just get more opportunities for talent.
And they also announced that Ospreay is going to be wrestling on their card in England, Reach for the Sky, in September, on the tour they're doing over there. So that's going to be exciting to see Ospreay on ROH TV, or at least the VOD. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, didn't he sign the WWN contract though? Like, is it not an exclusive contract?
I don't know, but I'm excited. I'm super hyped about this, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather see him in Evolve, because it's 5 feet away than Ring of Honor, but that's okay.
Obviously. And then Death by Dishonor just looks really, the card looks really good. I'm going to be excited about watching it on Friday.
That's next Friday?
Next Friday, yeah. I'm really excited about it. It's going to be awesome. I really think so.
The 19th?
Yep. And
How
then
am I supposed to watch Death Before Dishonor and Cody Rhodes in Evolve?
And if you go over to PW Ponderings, they actually have the list of all the indie shows that are going to be run the weekend of WrestleMania. Bro, of WrestleMania weekend. Dude, you know WrestleCro's going down there?
I don't think you've ever followed, like, what WrestleCon is. Like, I don't think you've ever really cared.
I don't think I have, no.
But yeah, like, that's what it is. It's PWG, it's Ring of Honor, everyone is there.
No, WrestleCro's going down there, bro.
Yeah, but everyone is there. Like, it's not a big deal like that. You know, like, everyone is there. Like
we should just go to Orlando and go to mad indie shows. What?
This is what I've been saying for 5 years, but you never wanted to do any of this.
All right, well, I'm going to try to convince. Okay, listen, very quietly. I'm going to convince. I can't say this loudly. I'm going to convince the wife that we want to go to Orlando for that weekend randomly, and then just go to tons of independent shows. She'll never see it coming.
I'm sure she'll know that there's WrestleMania in that town that weekend.
She won't see it coming. I'm going to get a good Airbnb.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's going to be great, bro.
Yeah.
I hear Stat Baby waking up, so let me just quickly hit up Tier 1. The Tier 1 show I went to was it was pretty long. It actually started with this company or this like project called Wrestlers Lab. So they just have like a bunch of like younger guys starting off the show for an hour before the main card started about 5. So it was over at St. Finbar's Church, which Evolve's going to be actually operating out of next weekend when they have their show in Brooklyn. So it's weird to think that like I'm sad that I'm not going to see what Evolve is like there as opposed to Laboom, because Laboom has all that crazy audio
and because
everything.
you saw Wrestle Pro there, like it would be like Tier 1 to me. Like it would be a good comparison. Yeah.
I guess for me, the two big take it well. I mean, I was excited to see the Bomb.
I can't believe you went on vacation this weekend. Anyway, continue.
I was excited to see the Abominable CPA and Kip Stevens, the Breakfast Club. They're like two nerdy guys. They moved on in the tag tournament, which was kind of fun. It was just kind of fun to see like a lot of the guys from local companies all on one card. For me, I think the two guys that stand out the most, both wear scarves. Maxwell Jacob Feinstein, I got in trouble for that, and Mr. Darius Carter. Listen, I don't know. I almost feel like it's a little too much scarf on one show, but Feinstein wrestled the Wrestlers Lab. He was in the main event. It was really good. I enjoyed watching him. He took on Craven Varro in the main event, and kind of like a early edge looking guy and a lot of the same movements. It was a really decent match. You know, he always cheats to win in some way. He like grabs the valet of the other guy and puts him in front of him. Like he just pulls like ultimate heel moves. But I think what my favorite was after that event, he does commentary for the entire Tier 1 show. And I'm sitting within the earshot. So he's just shades of JBL, and just shouting ridiculous things, definitely just to pop people in the audience, like not just people listening. And
people watching it,
yeah, I thought it was, I even supported the merch, I bought a shirt, and last night I was at a bar, and people were like, now I wear weird shirts all the time. Like I have odd divisions of shirts. Wrestling, grammar-related shirts. So. People don't stop me. Like last night, people were literally like, "Wait, who's Maxwell J. Feinstein?" And I'm like, let
That's
me.
The worst. Because it sounds like a real.
Yeah, no, they
person.
they thought he was like, they're like, well, what? He's better than me, and I know it. Who is this guy? And I was like, you guys got to come out to the shows. But it was pretty funny just to actually be asked about my shirt, because I never. Like the last time I was asked about a shirt, I was wearing like a Miz shirt in a supermarket, and this guy was like a Cena fan, and he was like, "Really,
Jeez.
The Miz?" And I was like, "You just said really, first of all." But I normally people don't interact, so I guess maybe something about that shirt is getting people to react. But no, I really had a great time at the Tier 1 show, and they're having another one on August 19th. I'm not going to be able to go there because, of course, I've made awful travel plans, and I'm going to be away the biggest weekend of New York wrestling this year. But that's okay, because I'll be back for Field of Honor the week after, and then we have Evolve in September. They just announced Sabre Jr. versus what'd you say, Ospreay?
Ricochet.
So that's going to be amazing. We're still going to a lot of events. There's going to be that Battle Club show all the way in October. So there's still a lot of New York wrestling I'm going to see. But I'm obviously missing their next match, their next event. And what's kind of cool is their champion went over to...
Where are they going to be the 19th?
They're going to be back at St. Finbar's.
After Evolve?
I guess.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
The 19th Evolve is in Jopa, and then the 20th.
Yeah. Okay. So they're what's cool is the world champion Rude Boy Riley. He went over to London and defended the title. So because he defended it in England,
legit world champion.
Yeah, and he actually, which I don't even know how this works, how a company that lets this happen. He won their title, so now he's bringing that back with him. So I don't know. It's cool. Kind of crazy to I mean, literally a world championship in Brooklyn is kind of something that's sweet to watch. So I can't stop going to these events. All right, well, Stat Baby is currently awake, so I'm going to have to make my exit. Before that, just want to First of all, remind you guys that we're being brought to you in partnership with the last word on sports.com. A little bit of a celebration here. I just got promoted to associate editor of the wrestling section, and very soon they're actually going to be releasing our very own URL, just our very own webpage for wrestling. So there's going to be a lot more wrestling content, so you want to go check that out. I'm still writing for, of course, PW Ponderings, covering all your ROH needs over there. And look for me on a podcast of honor soon, probably going over what happened at Death By Dishonor next week. You can follow me on Twitter at Rich_Laconi. You can follow us on Twitter at RunningWildLWOS. Send us an email at runningwildpodcast@gmail.com. And for the love of God, it takes 2 minutes, people. It takes 2 minutes. I know the people who listen to us, a lot of you guys are our friends. Go to iTunes. Search for our name in the iTunes store and leave us a rating and review. All right? All those comments really add up, and we're officially a 5-star rated podcast. We finally got enough ratings. So, ESPN just signed a Cheap Heat podcast. Listen. We, other sites.
You blackmailed 5 friends into giving us 5-star ratings. Like, yeah, great.
That's ridiculous, and I don't like the implications, sir. You're implying that there are 2 iTunes accounts in this house, and they may account for 2 of them. I don't like this information from your side. All right. On that note, before things devolve more, I just want to remind you guys that you have been listening to the podcast that is just too sweet.